Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the run. We are the boys who will stop your little game. We are the boys who will make you think again. 'Cause who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think old England's done?
70 years ago, on the 8th of May 1945, the nation finally had something to celebrate. Hitler and the Nazi Party had been defeated. For 6 long years, Britain and her allies had fought a devastating war. The cost to civilian and military life was on a scale never witnessed before. On that day, the Prime Minister Winston Churchill declared, "We may allow ourselves a brief period of rejoicing." And so millions celebrated with a sense of happiness and abandon that seemed to perfectly capture the nation's moment of utter relief and sheer joy. It was Victory in Europe Day. Horse guards, parades, and then what's likely to be one of the most spectacular sights of the day, a flypast featuring the Red Arrows and the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. It's the colour of the day. She's in sky blue. And there they are, being welcomed. Church and state. I mean, we're seeing it writ large today with the celebrations. And in a way, it's utterly fitting because that's how it was on the day.
Absolutely. And
we can now see the car of Her Majesty the Queen arriving for this service of Thanksgiving. Let's now go to Sean Williams, who's at the Abbey.
And as Her Majesty the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh arrive, there are Commonwealth services and commemorations. Of course, she's been here scores of times since she was a girl. Moments of great joy, her father's coronation in 1937, hers too in 1953, her marriage to the Duke of Edinburgh, and then the Dean will now do the bidding to start the service.
Forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Seen overhead 70 years ago, and the Red Arrows of today. And on Horse Guards Parade, they will salute His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, and will be saluted by him. It is a march of remembrance, it is a walk with old friends. Along the route is a memorial to the women of the Second World War, which commemorates the vital work of nearly 7 million women during this time. It saw a little...
And what does it mean for you to be part of this service today? What was going through your mind?
Well, today is a day of mixed emotion because I remember my comrades from the West Indies that didn't make it. You know, many of them died, but I'm fortunate, thank God, to be a survivor.
Behind the band, the service detachment of the Royal Navy and the Royal Marines. The detachment is drawn from across the entire naval service, including Her Majesty's naval bases Devonport, Portsmouth, and Clyde, the naval air stations of the Fleet era, and from Her Majesty's ships and submarines. Of course, this Terry is very much the Royal Navy, but we've had a glimpse today of the contribution of the Merchant Navy too.
Oh, absolutely, yes, and it's worth remembering on this day that 30,000 merchant seamen died, bringing vitals.
Today, alongside their friends and families. And here they are. They served all over the world, from the heat of the desert in North Africa to the freezing waters of the Arctic convoys.
Yes, and Canada, of course, part of the Empire. Canadian troops fought in Hong Kong and in the Aleutians against the Japanese. And we see that at the Imperial War Museum, where school parties are absolutely entranced listening to members of that greatest generation telling of their war experiences.
Winston Churchill watches the band go past out of Parliament Square and at Whitehall. The Marines band arriving at Horse Guards parades, marching past the lifeguards, the foot soldiers, or not the foot soldiers, the Marines, going past the Guard of Honour of the Cavalry.
Well, Marines, of course, soldiers and sailors too.
The left turn off Whitehall through the tilt yard. St James's Palace. The Horse Guards is guarded by the Queen's Lifeguard every day. Lifeguards, the most senior regiment in the British Army. These are sailors, of course. That dais will be manned by the time the veterans get there. Here come the veterans coming into Whitehall. The Prince of Wales holds the ranks of Admiral of the Fleet in the Royal Navy, Field Marshal in the Army, and Marshal of the Royal Air Force. He joined the Navy in 1971, following in the footsteps of his father, his grandfather, and both his great-grandfathers. And he completed 5 years of active naval service. Duchess of Cornwall, her father, Major Bruce Shand. Shand won 2 military crosses.
Second World War than almost any other service.
One of the pilots I came to know very well over the past couple of years was Jimmy James, who was flying the Bristol Bombay that was carrying General William Gott on his last flight. They were shot down over the desert of North Africa. Survived. General Gott was killed and Jimmy staggered off into the desert, was rescued, found help, went back, and later he flew throughout the war, and then he started flying the diplomatic flights, and he flew Clement Attlee back from Potsdam.
And of course it's worth remembering that Gott's death, I mean, Gott has been destined to become commander of the 8th Army. His death meant that another person got it, Field Marshal, as he became, Bernard Montgomery, Monty.
Jimmy would have loved all this, but he died early this year. Now the veterans have taken the salute. They have been saluted by the Prince of Wales, and now they're making their way across Horse Guards Parade, heading for St James's Park, where they'll stop and it will become more informal and they'll be able to relax and two Hurricanes, one Spitfire, coming over the London Eye from the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. The black and white stripes on the wings, the D-Day stripes. Now, if your imagination is fired by the sound of those Merlin engines, and you want to find out more about these old aircraft, please go to bbc.co./iwonder. The Red Arrows. Squadron leader David Montenegro is Red 1 and is in the middle, out in front. Red Arrows based at RAF Scampton in Lincolnshire. Of course, the wartime home of the celebrated 617 Dambusters Squadron.